Now, what's the next downside of investing in real estate?
Absolutely. Number 3, the third downside to real estate investing is most people believe they're looking for short-term goals or short-term rewards. And that, I would say, is a mistake. When you're looking at real estate, you got to be looking at it long-term, especially long-term rentals. One of the reasons that they call them long-term rentals is for that reason right there. I don't know if that's true, Anthony, but it sounded really good.
Yeah, I think it is true.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. All right. So long-term rentals, right, are there to help you build long-term wealth. I can't tell you the number of people that kind of approach us and actually come to us a little disappointed, right? Maybe they've bought the first property or two and they're like, hey, I just put 25 grand down and I got $200 a month in cash flow. Like what, that's not going to move the needle. That's not changing anything for me. And so the solution there is just changing your mindset and changing your vision and your approach to the reason as to why you're doing that, right? What I would tell you is long-term rentals are not a game changer in the short term, but they're absolutely a game changer in the long term, right? Long term, you've got these things working in your favor. Number one, if you look at some of the economic situations in which we're right now, number one being inflation, right? Long-term real estate or long-term rentals are a great hedge against inflation. You've got rent control, and then the tax advantages that Anthony just talked about is we've got depreciation, and then we also have appreciation on that property. So this is downsides, right? I just gave a list of the good, right? Right. But again, right, that is one thing that I would say is that is one of the shortcomings, especially in the long-term space, is that shortcoming on the cash flow. If you guys look at that opportunity and are not happy, you got to find different alternatives. You got to find different investments that are going to satisfy some of those short-term opportunities or some of those short-term needs. And so, again, that's why we have that cash flow matrix, if you guys want to talk to us about that. But one thing I would tell you is if you're in this real estate space, there's 2 opportunities that I see a lot, and I see 2 opportunities that people are very successful here. Number 1 is going to be wholesaling, and then number 2 is going to be flipping. Right? Is I've seen a lot of guys be very successful in the short term by wholesaling and flipping those properties and coming into the kind of those bigger chunks of cash and capital much quicker than just kind of sacking it away. So there is absolutely kind of a path that you can go down as you're building real estate via the wealth or building wealth via real estate. And again, long-term rentals are more of a long-term play for you. So make sure you guys get clarity on what you're trying to achieve. And I think that'll help with your vision as well.
Cam, I really like how you had mentioned we need to change the mindset because part of just in the example that you had said, people are focusing. Well, they're focusing on the cash flow, which is an important piece. But we need to open up our mind to realize there's other things going on. For example, I'm kind of rounding some numbers here, but I have a property that I paid about $100,000 for. Okay, and I think it's cash flowing maybe $3,000 to $4,000 a year. Which doesn't sound like a lot, right? But we also have to look at if it appreciated 2%, then that means that $100,000 that it'll be worth 102. So I have $2,000 in equity of appreciation. Also, the tenant is paying down my mortgage. And on this particular one, we're paying down, even in the year 1 and 2, about $2,000 of principal. So thus, I've got $4,000 in cash flow, but I also have $4,000 in the equity. So we need to open up our mind and really be looking at the big picture.
You want to see the entire episode? Click here. If you want to learn how investors use infinite banking to increase their returns and lower their taxes, click here. If you want to see if infinite banking is for you and you have some questions, hop on a discovery call with us and one of our coaches. The link for that will be in the description.